Hello, this is Mr. K's, and this is 28.4a. 28.4a. Our topic today is the Mexican change and turmoil. That legacy of Spanish colonialism and long-term political instability is going to plague Latin American nations that are newly independent. Mexico is no different than the rest. In the 1800s, Mexico dealt with U.S. ambitions to extend its territory to the Pacific Ocean. We're talking about Manifest Destiny, of course. Mexico dealt with U.S. ambition to extend its territory to the Pacific Ocean. Now look at this guy with a big long name, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. He is famous in U.S. history. He's a Mexican general and president 4 times. Mexican general and Mexican president. He was elected 4 times. Can you imagine that? He led the Mexican army to victory at the Battle of the Alamo. He led the Mexican army to victory at the Battle of the Alamo. A-L-A-M-O. That's just outside of San Antonio. But he was captured 2 weeks later at the Battle of San Jacinto. J-A-C-I-N-T-O. Captured at the Battle of San Jacinto. What happens when the United States U.S. forces captured him is they sent him to Washington, D.C., and they agreed to let him go back to Mexico if he would recognize Texas's independence, which he did. And then later on there's going to be a war. Under Santa Anna, he lost California and the American Southwest in the Mexican-American War. The Mexican-American War. Poor old de Santa Anna. After his rule came rule by, in my opinion, the best Mexican president they ever had, Benito Juarez. Benito Juarez. He was a Zapotec Indian. He was a home slice. He was a native. And he was trained as a lawyer and then became a lawmaker. And finally elected president. He was a reform-minded president. A reform-minded president. His rule is 1861 to 1872. He's a reform-minded president. Ruled from 1861 to 1872. And his achievement was called La Reforma. It was a program, liberal movement, to redistribute land. Redistribute land. To separate church and state, and increase education for the poor. Increase education for the poor. He cared about the poor people of Mexico. Why? Well, take a look at his origins. He was a Zapotec Indian. They were the lowest of the low. So he's going to try to give the poorest of the poor some social programs to help them. He's exiled or kicked out during the French takeover of Mexico. He was exiled during the French takeover of Mexico. You know, we talk about the Cinco de Mayo. That's when the Mexicans were able to kick out the French. So until that time, he was kicked out. He returns to promote trade. Open infrastructure, which is communication and transportation, open infrastructure, and education. Unfortunately, dude dies of a heart attack in 1872. The best president Mexico ever had, and the dude died of a heart attack in 1872. Seems like Mexico can't win. I want to show you portraits of these 2 dudes. There is General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. He was educated in Spain. He was from a fairly well-to-do family. And he was president of Mexico 4 different times. Won the Battle of Alamo. Nice looking guy. Look at Benito Juarez. Boy, does he look like a Native American. He looks like an Indian, a Zapotec Indian. And he was the best president Mexico ever had. Unfortunately, I know, he dies of a heart attack. Next time we talk, we're going to consider the rulers after Juarez, and it doesn't go well for Mexico. Do-nothing dictators, basically. And we'll see how Mexico finally gets a new constitution? Well, this is Mr. K's, and this is 28.4a. See you down the road.